Alright, what's going on, guys and gals? And as you can see, we are inside the truck today. And we're going to do basically like an instructional video, a little how-to, if you will. So, as you can see, we got the plain Jane AM/FM radio in this truck. Well, what we're going to do today is swap it out. We're actually going to be putting a CD player in this bad boy. We already got the Sirius deck installed. I should have done a video about that. Wasn't too hard to do. But yeah, this basically goes for any B Series or Ranger 95 and up. And this will also apply to the Explorers about the same era too, with this same dashboard. Anything that is basically Ranger based with this dashboard. But we got the wiring harness and the install kit to do this, so let's go ahead and get started. So this is what's going to replace it right here. Got ourselves a nice little Pioneer. As you can see, it's got MP3 capability, MP3 jack, USB port to charge your smartphone or play tunes off of it. Nice little decorative trim plate going around it. And I actually had this in the tampon. It worked great. And you can see you got your hookups back there for your preamp and stuff. Wiring harness, antenna. But we're not really going to be doing any amps or subs in this setup. It's just going to be just your standard 4-speaker setup. So, and this is the wiring harness that actually came with the head unit. So we're going to be putting that with the wiring harness that I bought here. We'll show it to you here. This particular harness says 83 to 03 Fords and whatnot, but yeah, it shows you all the models that this will fit. So it just so happens the B Series pickup 94 through 97 this fits. Just pretty standard. And then this would be your trim. Alright, sorry about that. I ran out of memory card there. I had to clear some off. Make a little room, if you will. But as I was saying, I was getting into this install kit here. This little trim kit. It says 1995 to 2011 Ford, Lincoln, Mercury, and Mazda products. So, and it even shows a picture of the bezel that's in the Ranger. So you know it's going to fit. It's a model FD 2080. That's the part number of that one. So since we're in a 96 Mazda B Series, let's see, it shows on the back what all this fits. And there's a ton of them. So yeah, Mazda B Series fits all the way from 95 up to 09, I guess when they quit making them. And I guess same goes for the Rangers up to 2011. And like I said, it covers your Explorers up to like, I think from 95 to 2001. And of course the Explorer Sports and all that. Anything with that particular dash. But anyway, let's get started on that. Okay, so I got the harnesses out of the box, and this one here I believe is for the speakers, and it's even marked left rear negative. It says it'll pretty much tell you where to put what, and colors are usually pretty standard on these. And then this I think is for like all your power and stuff, like your remote antenna. Yeah, power antenna right there it says. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, dash lights. But yeah, that's for your power, that's for your speakers. And then that's all going to wire into this half, which is the part of the harness that goes to the head unit. So, you could do this one of two ways. You could bullet connect everything, or solder and shrink tube it. But I'm going to solder and shrink tube it just for the simple fact that you have less of a chance of having loose connections like you do with bullet connectors. So, we'll go ahead and start on that. Okay, so we got solder on all the ends here, as you can see. And whenever you go to shrink tube these, you want to make sure you have these over your wires first before you go soldering them. So yeah, you want to have those on before you even start to solder anything together. So we'll see in a little bit. Okay, so the speaker side of it's done here, and we got them all together right here, as you can see. And I got all these slid way back so they didn't melt whenever I soldered these together. since heat actually makes these shrink. So we're going to slide all these over these joints, and then we'll take some matches and shrink them on. Okay, so we got that all done. You can see it looks all nice and neat. Much less of a chance of it coming apart too when you like push it up in the dash. That's the one thing I don't like about them bullet connectors, is when you push everything in the dash, you have more of a chance of ending up with a loose connection when you get it all put back together. So yeah, I was using matches, which probably isn't the safest bet. I don't have a heat gun here, so kind of the only option I had as far as shrinking the shrink tube onto this. But yeah, it didn't turn out too awful bad. So now we got to move to the power side of the harness. Okay, we got the harness done, as you can see. Got the power side on, got it all shrink tubed. Any unused wires we have here taped off. That's your amp remote, or your amp power. We're not going to have any amps in this, so we don't need that. Won't need this either. So I was kind of a little thrown off when I first opened this, having two connectors on each of these. But then I got to thinking about it, realizing that the older Ford radios had these bigger connectors, and then your newer double-din radios have these smaller connectors. So I guess that explains why this fits from 83 all the way up to 97 as far as that goes. Okay, so we got our install kit prepped here. You can see we got the trim of the stereo in. And you got to bend a couple tabs up to get that tight along the edges. And you really can't, it's kind of hard to see there. Got that little cubbyhole thing here. But yeah, you got to read the instructions on this, and there's like certain tabs you got to break out for certain vehicles on this kit. Actually, it came with two install kits technically. So this is the one that fits the Ranger and the B Series. And you find what vehicle you have. We have the B Series. I don't know. There you go. And it shows every tab with an X you must break off. It says anything tab A we keep. Basically, that tab and that tab. It looks a little rough here because I had to drum all those brackets off. And tab A down there on the bottom. See, it has a whole bunch of different configurations on how to do this depending on your vehicle. Whoops, I dropped it. I'm not scripted, you can tell. Yeah, shoot, this whole kit probably fits like 30 or 40 different vehicles. Ooh, what do you know? Different languages. But who needs that? This is America, damn it. Okay, so next step is removing this stereo. And we got to remove the dash piece here, the bezel. And we got two screws right under the right underneath here that we got to take off. 7mm socket will do it. Now, most Fords have this pin setup on their stereos. You can stick the pins in and slide it out, but we can actually get around it with this since the whole bezel will come off, and then we can take it pretty much off that way. So that's what we're going to do here now. And it's kind of a challenge to do this one-handed. Well, I gotta move the shifter. And we'll lay that down there with the other screw, like so. And I believe this just clips on up top here. It's only held by them two screws down there, or it was. So, you want to go easy on it too. You don't want to break the clips as you're doing this. You can see that the radio actually pulls out right with it as you're... See, it comes out really easy. No real, you don't got to be real hard on it. And, of course, I got this Sirius deck in the way. I got to somehow move that without doing anything. So, okay, the bezel is loose. And you can see Yeah, we're going to have to unplug that. We'll have to unplug the cigarette lighter and see if there's anything on the other side. Yeah, there's a couple things here we got to unplug. Okay, we got all that loose. It's funny. It's just a bunch of fake plugs. It's almost like they put everything in the wiring harness in these trucks and then just let it there behind. It's like they were just plugged to plastic, I think. I'm thinking some of the more loaded vehicles, more loaded models have a cigarette lighter over here too. But okay, we're down to the stereo. We got the antenna hookup, so we're going to remove that. Like so. And then we got our wiring here for the stereo. So we're going to remove that like so. Sorry for getting any weird views there. Okay, that's unplugged. And we'll unplug this. Alright. So, the radio is now loose. So that's how you take out the dash bezel on the radio. And there is our plugs. I'm guessing this one has to be the speakers because there's actually 8 wires coming off of it. So that'd be your speaker half of the harness. And this, I believe, would be your power half. So we'll take this in the hobby room and remove the radio. Alright, so I guess before we go any further with this and actually take the radio out of the bezel, we're going to hook this harness up and we're going to test the head unit itself out just to make sure it does work in that truck before going through the trouble of putting it in here. So, there's a little makeshift kit. We'll worry about that a little bit later. And we'll take this head unit with us and see you in the truck. Okay, so here we are back in the truck once again, as you can see. And we got our wiring harness here. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect everything. So, I'm not sure what for view you're going to get here. Damn, this is hard to do. Alright. Okay, so that clipped on like so. That's your speakers. Very easy. And then the power side, I gotta get my trouble light out of the way. It's being a pain in the ass. Okay, there we go. And then this is gonna be your power side. And that clips on easily like so. So there's that half of the harness. I'm gonna push it all back in here. And we will plug this into the head unit. So hold on while I do that. And we'll plug the antenna in as well. Don't know how good you can see me doing that, but you'll get the point. Okay, so technically it's wired in, and we are going to see if it works. Okay, we got our keys in, and moment of truth here. Alright, I heard something move. We got power, that's a good sign. And it goes to setup menu. We'll say no for now, because I want to test it. Let's see here. Radio. Well, we got audio. That's a good thing. Alright, so got to see if all the speakers work. Well, I got to turn the XM off too, the Series I mean. So we can see if we get anything.
300 inviting you.
Yeah, we got reception, so the antenna works. Okay. That's your auxiliary, radio. Okay, yeah, there's our menu. Audio, fader. Okay, that's our front speakers. That's the back. Fader, rear, fader, rear. Okay. Center. Okay, never mind. Balance. That's what I was looking for there. Okay, that's your right side. I don't have any music on because I really don't want this video muted for copyright. So, everything on the left works. Okay. Okay, we'll shut her down. And continue on here. Ugh, can't talk. Okay, now we gotta separate the factory radio from the bezel. And I was saying about those pins a little bit earlier in the video. Well, we're not gonna need them because you can see we got access to the clips that these pins go to. So all we gotta do really is just push them in and it should pop out. Okay, so the old stereo is out, nothing to it. And yeah, it's these clips here that hold that in. Yep, it says Ford right on the radio, even though it's a Mazda. So there you go, that's how you remove that. And we're going to install this in that same spot. So we're going to slide it in like so. It should clip right in. There we go, she's in there good and tight. Sweet. Looks good too. Can't wait to see it in the truck. And when I see in pictures of these, I thought this cubby hole went the whole way back, but it don't. I was hoping I could like stash a couple CDs in there or something, but oh well. I won't be listening to too many CDs on it, but you can see those are your A clips right there in the corners, holding it in. And I don't know how well you can see that there, but you got one holding it there, and one there in that corner. So now the challenge will be figuring out how to secure the back of this thing, since the other one had a clip on it. So we'll see in a little while. Okay, so I had to do a little bit of a minor fabbing here. This stereo doesn't have that back center screw to mount on this bracket, so I took a little piece of 2x4, cut it down. I'm going to put it on a slider inside the truck, and it'll sit like this. So we'll go see how that works. And there's that back mount piece right there. And we'll slide her in and see what happens. Alright, I'd say that's going to work perfectly as far as sitting on there goes. Or at least the back of it's not going to sink down whenever you're driving down the road. So, yeah, we'll go with that. We'll get her all hooked up and ready to go. Alright, we actually taped this on so it actually stays. And then, yeah, we got to make sure we reconnect all our wires here, which this one and this one don't go anywhere, since we got a plain Jane here. And of course, that's our stereo wire harness. This here I actually added. That's coming off the Sirius deck, so I'm going to be running that through the auxiliary rather than through the FM adapter I had in here before, since it's going to be better sound quality. So, we'll go ahead and hook everything back up, and we'll see if we can do this. I don't know what you can see there while I'm doing this. Probably nothing. Probably just hear me ramble on about stupid shit. About life in general, yada yada, whatever. Okay, where's the antenna? Okay, we're going to put that through here. That's going to be for Sirius deck. We'll plug it in a while. Alright. Dang, I just had that antenna wire. If I can find where it's at. Alright, we got everything hooked back up now. And let's go ahead and make sure it does work again. We got power, that's a good thing. We'll turn the deck on, make sure the auxiliary works. We don't want sit up right now. So we'll hit source. It's radio. Yeah, the signal in here sucks, but yeah, we know the auxiliary works. So we'll cut the power off and we'll put the bezel back on then. Alright, so we'll go ahead and push this in. You'll hold on for a minute there. Kind of got a wire in the way. Don't want to damage it. Alright, and it easily clipped back into place. Head unit's in there good and solid. And we'll put the 2 screws back under here then. So it's the next day, and figured I'd do this as an outro so you get a better view of the system here, rather than it being dark out. And yeah, going to work and back, it worked flawlessly. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little instructional video, or a little how-to on installing an aftermarket stereo in a Ranger or B Series pickup truck. So there you go. There's more where that came from, and we'll see you later.